Buenos días, buenas tardes, y buenas noches a todos. ¿Cómo están ustedes? Hope everyone's doing all right. Hope your portfolios are in the green. I know we're going through a, mad correction in the market at the moment due to quite a few things going on at the same time. But I hope you're buying a dip. If you've done a due diligence on the stocks you hold and you're confident, then buy the dip. If not, you might be sweating right now.
So we don't have the capacity.
But anyway, back to the point. I've got another special guest for the channel, a very good friend of mine, worked in Fintech for many years. He's got a whole perspective on the market that I find a lot of people aren't talking about. And yeah, again, like the video I did with my good friend Roni, I'm going to bring it to you in bits because we're actually having to record these segments at different times because, he's busy doing what he's doing. I'm busy with work and whatnot and trying to do these videos. So it's just about us trying to meet up at the same time, which don't happen too often. So, yeah, anyway, don't want to talk too long. Let's roll the credits and, yeah, show you guys part one. Right, ladies and gents, so we're back again. And as promised, we got another special guest on the channel, a very, very good friend of mine who I've known for many years, literally another day one friend. He works in the finance sector, and I feel he's got a perspective on things which we may not be necessarily thinking of. So first of all, let's welcome Taylor Daps to the channel. How are you doing, Taylor?
Yeah, I'm doing great, man. Yeah, I like them big intros there still.
Bro,
Yeah.
you deserve it. You deserve it. Yeah. We've been friends for many years. And to be honest, back from then, I would have never thought we would have both ended up in this kind of space. Do you know what I mean? From
financial world. Yeah.
Exactly. And even from...
Well, we always like money.
Yeah. Well, very true, bro. Very, very, very true. So I got
as we all do, but
yeah,
we was always grafters in regards to putting money into something to get something else out, that sort of thing. Oh, yeah, we was very grafty in that regard. So we had that investor spirit from a young time. Do you know what I mean? Me, I was 12 years old on Frontline selling share rice.
Okay.
Yeah, 12 years old on Frontline selling share rice.
Yeah.
Frontline, for those who don't know, that was a very popular road in Brixton back in the day, before the gentrification and all of that. So it was mostly, it was Atlantic Road back in the time when I'm talking. After a while, it became more Calaba Lane, they would call Frontline. Okay. But back in my day, really my years a bit, it was Atlantic Road. And I used to be up and down there as a 12-year-old with my trolley and my big block of ice that I used to get from London Bridge. And yeah, I used to share rice.
So you say that's where the journey began?
I'm just showing you some of the entrepreneurship from a young age.
Yes,
I mean, I'll tell you about some other things I used to do before that.
Yeah.
Just little things. As a kid, I just had that little entrepreneur spirit, really, in regards to just purchasing and then selling back.
Yeah.
From our school days, I was the tuck shop,
I could believe that. I could see tuck that definitely.
So, and stuff like that. And I used to live in a big flat in Stockwell. I think it's about 19 floors. It's still there. And even then, I used to get orders from everyone in the block and sell cakes to them.
Yeah.
So I used to get the cake mixes and just make the cake and sell cakes to them. I must have been about, 9 years old at the time. Yeah. So, you know, did I start getting familiar with keeping my book because of who wanted the cake and how much for that cake and what I need to get and ingredients and glazed cherry and all of that. Yeah, so you start, you know, I'm keeping books without even realizing that, right, actually, I'm doing bookkeeping right here.
Exactly.
You know, so these little things. So when you see the youth then with entrepreneurship of any kind, you have to kind of, you say, yeah, all right, but what's the business behind that? Let's look into that, 'cause that's a good idea you're doing.
Exactly.
What you're doing is a good idea, but let's kind of look at the business so that, you know, you can start grooming them into making positive financial decisions instead of poor financial decisions, which kind of brings us in to the conversation that you know, we want to have. Because the question you posed to me originally, and if I'm running away with this, do let me know. But the question you posed to me was, well, because I'm in the financial sector and I do a lot of work in a mental health capacity, what gems can I drop on the people now who are getting into trading and how to deal with their mental health in that aspect? And well, they say the second most stressful job is the guys on the trading floor. That's always been a thing since the 80s, you know? So that's the second most stressful job. The guys on the trading floor, it can be stressful. And I think the first is a surgeon. So you got surgeon and you got the trading floor guys. And that's because they're making quick decisions about a lot of money which doesn't belong to them. Yeah. So it can, you know, it can go to the wayside as quickly as it can cause, you know, great wealth. Yeah. So, you know, it's that aspect. And then kind of just bringing it up to today, you know, what people were doing. It's just a case of really being prudent then with what you've got. And regardless of what you got, and that's why I kind of wanted to relate from before to now, because you should always kind of keep it basic, you know. For an example, like when I was saying that, you know, selling cakes or share rice or whatever, you still got to think of, you know, your asset, your liability, you know, your overheads, you know, what's your capital, what do you owe, you know, and keep, you know, balance your own books. So regardless of what the figure is, you know, just balance your books with it. Yeah. Some people, you know, when you're stressed, you're gonna make poor financial decisions. You know, that's kind of 80% chances you're gonna make a poor financial decision because you're stressed. You know, it's easy to kind of get finessed when you're eager then. So, you know, you just have to kind of bear these things in mind and kind of be real to yourself in regards to what you're doing so you don't fall into those poor financial decisions and then jumping back into that denial game that I was talking about, because this will happen to people trading. They'll think, okay, they mucked up, but the next one. But what are you using as capital for this next one now that you've mucked up? Because if you're falling into the negative place where your gambling was not yours, that has to be credited to gambling. And it's interesting that we jump on gambling, because I was speaking to a good sister of mine only today about her brother and how, you know, people are saying that he's gambling. And her version of it was this then. She was saying like, well, at the end of the day, when he's, you know, doing whatever he is doing and making his money, it's only going back into things such as clothes, the club, pom pom, and weed. Don't mean to be vulgar, but let me just tell it straight. So the fact that he's gambling to try and make a bus isn't that just as bad as what he would have spent it on anyway? And yeah, I understand that entirely, and that makes total sense. But you do have to kind of think to yourself, what is the financial place you're in at the moment? Was you already in financial denial when every time you get a change, you're using it with these negative coping mechanisms, you know, too much clubbing and all them something there, when really you should be building so that you can, you know, have some capital to really do something. So that's one. So then to kind of take that and then say, okay, well, if I'm just going to take these wild gambling moments with it rather than do that, then you might as well also think about how to kind of prudently trade what you've got and balance the rest rather than, all right, I'm just going to take a gamble. I think part of the culture now is that nobody wants to take baby steps anymore.
No, definitely not.
To get to the prize. You know? And that's part of the problem, because, you know, what are you risking? Because the downfall can be really, 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 really bad. And do you have the coping mechanisms to deal with that if it gets really, really bad? Some people can just go from all to nothing and then still get back up on their feet and say, right, here I am, starting from, you know, square one, let's go. But some people, you know, they will just keep ruminating about what they achieved and look where they are now. And, you know, it's just going to be defeatist, and they're just going to want to kind of drink away that sorrow. And then the drink becomes their coping mechanism. And then now they're drinking, you know, and that drink could not be drink. It could be something else. I don't even have to elaborate. You know, we all know what it is.
Oh, yes.
And there we have it, because of that denial and the coping mechanism of it. So then how do you take it all back? How do you get yourself back on your feet and let's go? Well, first you have to kind of be true to yourself in regards to what your journey is. You have to be true to yourself in regards to what your fuck up was as well. And you kind of take it from there. And yeah, sometimes it's easier said than done when you now owe loads of money to people now because of, you know, whatever your consequence was. So now you've got that stress that you've got people on your back, whether that's financial institutions, man on road, whatever it might be, you know, because, you know, you found yourself in a place where you thought to kind of gamble what wasn't yours to gamble at the end of the day. Yeah, so sometimes, you know, as much as I can give you like healthy coping mechanisms to deal with and kind of to get yourself back up, you know, once a tree cut down, the tree cut down, right? Exactly. So, you know, if you owe that money, it doesn't stop that. There's no consolidating plan and all of that. You know, you can consider yourself bankrupt, and that's you slaughtered for the next 6 years. You can't do nothing. You know.
You know what, fam? We're gonna get straight back to this, but I think it's important that people know, like the reason I even want your perspective on this. Like, what is your role in the industry? Well, I know we're not gonna talk company names and nothing like that, but just yeah.
Okay. Well, you know, in the fun, Fintech is my game. Yeah, Fintech is my game. I've been in Fintech since the early outs of Fintech, and the industry that I'm in regards to Fintech is doing extremely well. What I personally do in that capacity, I'm definitely adaptable to all trades in there. For one, you know, the reason why I'm speaking the way I speak, because I do work in the mental health first aid capacity within my firm. I also work within the consumer compliance capacity. Also, so that's more reviewing and basically making sure that we are in regulation with the FCA and making sure that we're clear on our duty by way of the Financial Services Compensation Scheme, you know, and all of that stuff. I do a lot of reviewing. Yeah, it is a lot of reviewing. You know, people, assets, yeah, and using a lot of vendor software to kind of formulate those reviews. Really. Yeah. I gotta cut it short now because we are locking up. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So sorry. Yeah.
That's all good.
I did say it could happen at any time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I gotta cut it short, but
don't worry, bro. We're gonna get you on again, man.
All right, cool. But yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, yeah. So I do a lot in the fintech financial sector. I could go on and it will bore you. But really, I guess the piece that I'm pushing here is the fact that I've learned so much from that whole mental health capacity on my fintech journey.
Yes.
That I just kind of want to share it with ones-on-ones where I can. So that's what it really comes down to, really. Because what I notice, and we've all noticed, is that, you know, a lot of us can be better with money, and better with our assets and just what we're dealing with, really. And sometimes, you know, each one teach one.
Exactly that.
And that's what it comes down to. So, you know, I'll share what I know. I don't know everything, but, you know, I most definitely will share what I know. A lot of the advice that I offer tends to be helping people within that realm. So why not my ones-on-ones outside that realm also? So for now, sorry, I need to cut it short.
No problem, bro.
You know, twice removed.
Twice removed. We'll get you on again soon, fam.
Blessed, man.
Respect, fam.
All right.
Bless.